Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. Keep in mind there's a bunch of white supremacists who are trying to, play out Jews. And they're changing my voice pretty dramatically here. I don't want to have to brush my teeth again, so let me just make this brief. And keep in mind they're drastically changing my voice. I'm not gay. So this crazy guy killed his father and cut off his head because he thinks that he wanted to prevent him from becoming the next Donald Trump. And he brought up that his father, and it's probably not true, was a martial art expert with 2 black belts. Now again, they do this to mock. If some guy that looked like him said that he could knock out Tyson, would you believe him? No. If someone who was as big as Tyson is and looked meaner said he could knock out Tyson, perhaps you would believe him. When you look at my exact martial art arguments, my top martial arts challenge, I may as well be moving as fast as the speed of light. The gap between me and other people is great. I use the facts here. Everyone listening to this must know that there's no martial artist on the planet who could have done what I did at the time that I did it. 2012, my first challenge. 2013, when people were still serious. Before people became so heterosexual phobic, right? Hating on straight people. When everyone started acting like a homosexual, I made a challenge to everybody. And I kept raising the amount of money. Raised it to 60,000 at some point, raised it 100,000, eventually found my way to 200 million or so, if compensated, 60,000 or 100,000. If I'm not, $50 just to show. Beat every challenger. Okay? People in the Olympics couldn't do what I did. People win kumite tournaments. People in the MMA. People at your local martial arts studios. No one could do that. Martial is marital scrambled. I, Christ, and the Bridegroom. And I tell the truth about everything, including that. None of these people would dream of arguing that they're Christ. I've been arguing I'm Christ since, if I'm not mistaken, 2021, if I'm not mistaken here. Okay, that's 4 years. No one has come up with a single counter argument in 4 years. Not a single one. People have conceded my point, but no one has come up with a single counter argument. I have bumper stickers that point to my challenge. I've commented on videos on YouTube, on Facebook and groups, on TikTok, etc. Not a single counter argument. So I was making a video earlier, no offense to the Jews. Again, there's white people who try to act like because a lot of Jews are autistic and stuff like that they're to blame for everything. Are the Jews to blame for everything that ever happened in history? No. It's stupid to think that's the case. In recent history, are they disproportionately involved? I say that's about right, yeah. But so what? Okay? If they're guilty, they're guilty. And I call it how I see it. Now, again, you have to consider the situation. No one should be dating anyone outside the divine order. No one should date anyone after my flesh dies. No one should reproduce after my flesh dies. That doesn't favor any group. I'm not a racist. But when you see the person on the screen, it's clear that the person needed supervision like the governing class does. That person who killed his dad, and probably is the only person he ever killed, he's not the main problem in society. It's stupid to zoom in on that guy and say he's crazy and people like that need to be stopped while you're obeying these mass murdering rich people who passed a psychotic bill that gave trillions of dollars in tax cuts to the rich. While they've been avoiding taxes already, and there's not a shred of evidence that trickle-down economics works. Okay? Giving tax cuts to the rich does not help people who are poor. Not to any significant degree. Okay? To argue that it helps them is worse than arguing that letting bank robbers get away with it is good for the economy. There's some truth to it, but it's just not true. The economy includes the bottom 60% who live paycheck to paycheck, while we've had a trickle-down economic system all throughout American history, including the last 70 years, where there's been a massive wealth transfer from the poor to the rich. People who don't understand that that's a serious problem are insane. Rich people massacre people. And who knows what they do behind the scenes. Almost certainly some of these guys have been caught, human trafficking, raping kids, killing people, Epstein, and so on and so forth. There's one billionaire, you look it up, there was a billionaire who was caught not that long ago on the human timeline, that is, the human history in general, who was caught as a serial killer. He's a billionaire. It wasn't that long ago. And so, the main problem is these rich people, these psychopaths who are massacring people. It's stupid for people to look at that case and to say, wow, guys like that are the problem. It's very sad. What I would say to Beverly Hills, Palo Alto, Malibu, Almaden, Saratoga, Los Gatos, all these people who live around here who know what's going on here and help them financially sabotage me, help them shun me. They won't help me get the message out that Christ is back. First, remove the log from your own eye. You who have stacked up blood money all the way to the heavens, before you remove the speck from someone who's just killed one person's eye. Now, there's other things he did wrong, but they don't compare to the guilt of the rich. That which you did not do for the least of my brethren, you didn't do for me. And to the one who much is given, much is expected.